What is it about Fiats that keeps me captivated? Is it the body lines, the engine noise, the nimble handling? Is it the way it feels on a twisty, empty back road at dusk? Is it the top-down spiders? Is it the silly nature of an Abarth's exhaust note? Is it the sheer number of builds that are truly built and not bought? Is it how every car is just as unique as its owner? Is it the community love for the old and the new? Is it the people you meet and the stories you tell? When does it stop being about cars and it starts being about people? When does it become more than a group gathering to go for a drive and turns into friends going for a drive? And somewhere along the road, it becomes about friends who become more like family the more time they spend together. I don't think I'll ever know the timeline of how it develops, because for each person it happens at a different pace. It took me 2 years. Some people it takes one trip. Next thing you know, you're going to friends' weddings, you're celebrating new grandchildren, you're welcoming their next Fiat into the family. And at some point, we stopped being friends and started being Fiat family.
Hey, how's it going? So, a while back, Cody had asked if I'd do this video, just talking about how, I got into the Tail of the Dragon and what led to the Fiat and the Dragon event, what led to that. But thought it'd be kind of fun to do this quick little video while I'm actually on the Tail of the Dragon. I'm heading up there right now. They just finished paving the road, and I'm taking this new to me 1988 Alfa Romeo Sprint Quadrifoglio, and it'll be kind of fun. It's old 80s hot hats, and see how it does. It's a 1.7 liter dual Weber carburetors from the factory, so it'll be a lot of fun. But anyway, back to the the road. So my love for this road goes way back. Back in 1995, my wife and I, Beth, we were going for a little drive, and we thought it'd be kind of fun to go up into the mountains. And we'd never been on the Tail of the Dragon before, so we took off. And she was extremely pregnant, by the way, with Blake, and we took off on up to the road, and we got up there, and then she got really car sick. So we decided we'd stop at Fontana Village for the night so she could recover, and we could just kind of hang out and enjoy the weekend. So we did that. That was our first time going to Fontana Village, and the first time on the Tail of the Dragon. At that time, it was called the Dragon's Back. For some reason, they changed it. And the speed limit was actually 55 miles an hour, if you can believe it. There was very little traffic, and there were essentially no law enforcement to speak of. I mean, we didn't see any. But anyway, we had a good time. I was driving my 1981 X19. It's a right-hand drive X19 that I've had since 1988, and we had a good time, and that basically, showed me the road for the first time. So after that, I went back many times, went back on my own and with friends. It was kind of one of those things we just, if I could get away for the day, I'd head up there and check it out. So you fast forward a few years, and John Montgomery and some other friends from the Fiat Club and I, we started talking about how much fun it would be to do an event up there. So we planned to do the very first Fiat Freakout on the Dragon. And that happened in 1998. So we had the Fiat Freakout on the Dragon in 98, and then had I think at the time it was the largest one up to that point, with 150 cars. It was definitely the largest event, a car event that Fontana had ever done. So it was kind of a big deal. We had a good time. We came back the next year in '99, had people from all over. It was the first time it had been south of the Mason-Dixon line, so it was definitely a big deal for us and the club. So that was a couple of successful events on the Dragon, and it kind of whetted my appetite to how much fun it was to share the road with people who, weren't here, didn't live here. So fast forward a few more years, and a lot of years actually. In 2012, I ended up buying a Fiat Abarth 500, and thought it'd be a lot of fun to get with some of the new car owners at the time. Fiat had just come back to the United States, and the Abarth 500 was brand new. I got one of the very first ones, definitely the first one in Knoxville, and started hitting the road, and a lot of fun. So decided, hey, why don't we just invite some friends? So in spring of 2013, invited anybody that wanted to come. We had about 25 cars for the very first Fiat on the Dragon. We stayed in Alcoa, and we did our drives, and had a blast. A lot of fun. We even had name badges and t-shirts on the first event, so it kind of started something. We came back in the fall, did it again. I think we did the Italian Car Day that fall, but so it kind of started something. So each year since then, we've done a spring and fall event. The spring event typically is the larger of the two. We've had as many as 165 cars at one point. I tend to like the smaller events better because it gives you more time to hang out with friends. The fall event is more of a road trip style event. We try to do more different locations, and maybe explore a little bit more, stay in different hotels each night. It's just a little bit more of a little more casual, less planning needed because it's a lot smaller. So that's kind of how that got started, and it's been a great time. I mean, I've made a lot of friends. It's kind of become my Fiat family, and it's there's people that I call dear friends through this whole thing, and I've always said as long as it's fun, I'll keep doing it, and I'm glad people enjoy it, and I hope to see you guys keep coming back. I couldn't do it without the support of my wife Beth and my sons Blake and Brad, and then of course Gabrielle. She always adds a lot of fun to the mix with her enthusiasm. But yeah, I appreciate everybody's help, all the friends that have helped over the years, just people that I've grown to know and love. And for me, it's not just the cars. I mean, the cars are great, but it's more the people. I mean, the people keep me coming back and keep me to do it. I mean, I come up here no matter what. I'm going up right now. So I mean, yeah, I go without you guys. So I do enjoy it, but it's definitely more fun when I have my Fiat friends with me. So y'all keep coming back, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care, and I love you guys. Bye.
Hi, I'm Ruth Ann. I drive a Fiat 500C. It is non-turbo. It is an A. It is a lot of fun to drive, actually. It's my daily driver. I drive it everywhere. This year marked my third year at Fiat on the Dragon, so I know quite a bit of the people already, just from attending prior years, but this was my very first year as a driver, and I did drive the non-turboed 500C down there. I was fairly nervous. I've been passenger quite a few times, so I know what the roads are like and what they're about. So yeah, first time. It was awesome. The Dragon was nothing compared to some of the roads we did. Nothing. I would have to say the Devil's Triangle was my absolute favorite. I kept up with a lot of the turboed 500s. So that was a lot of fun chasing them down through the winding roads. It was just a blast. Everyone was having a great time. Everyone was complimenting each other's driving. It was great. I did realize that I may or may not need some upgrades on my car, starting with brakes and tires. That would have been helpful. I plan to do those. I actually was yesterday we got home and I'm looking at parts to buy, coilovers, brakes, all kinds of stuff, sway bar, you name it. I was looking at it. I want to upgrade now just so I keep bringing it back. It was so much fun. So when you're on the Dragon, or the Dragon rides, I should say, there are different skill sets. Obviously there's a lot of people there, but even if you're in the highest class, or you're just hanging out, just riding, just to enjoy the scenery, everyone has a great time. Nobody judges you. There's so much camaraderie, and if something happens, you're never left behind, ever. There's a group there to help you. That is the most impressive thing, is no one gets left behind for any issue whatsoever. And everyone is willing to help fix the issue and get you back on the road and get you back to enjoying your weekend. For me, it's the people. I would gladly go down in a slow freaking car just to hang out with my friends. And they're not even friends anymore. It's Fiat family. And I love that I can say that. I love that I can count on these people. And I have lifelong friends from Fiat on the Dragon. Prior to me owning a Fiat, these were lifelong friends. And now that I own a Fiat and I get to participate in the rides, it just makes it that much more fun. I love it. I love it.
So I'm David Clark from Waxhaw, North Carolina. Just got back from my 5th Fiat on the Dragon event. It's 5 in 2 years. The first one, of course, didn't go so well. But had a lot of fun. And managed to drive my car off into the ditch. Not this one. This car's Bug. This is my daily driver with its beautiful, lovely houndstooth upholstery. The other car that I did drive off into the ditch was Nora, my wife Bart, who got a lot of attitude. She talks to me sometimes to, if you're ever around me, tell you about some of the things she says when we're driving. Just brace yourself. She's a very dirty girl. But this past year was a lot of fun. I did some great drives. Of course, I got into a Bart's about 4 years ago. Got into Fiat's about 5 years ago. Joined 500 Bart owners page on Facebook, and that's where I met Cody Whited. We was living in Colorado at the time, and then he moved to Sumter, South Carolina, and moved in with Brian Marchand. And he and I, at his encouragement, started a group called Carolina Bart. And I think we had our biggest turnout of Carolina Bart members at this spring's Fiat on the Dragon, which is good, great to see. But this past year, I think the things that I'll remember the most, more than the drives, are probably the fun and fellowship, and of course the massive amount of foods provided by Carmelo and Chris, and of course Ruth Ann and Tammy, the princess, and Cody participating in the biscuits and gravy cook-off that final morning we were there. Just a great time, a lot of fun. Of course, I will, as Cody requested, send along pictures of both the cars. Lovely photographs of them side by side, so we'll get to see them together. This is a little joy I get to drive every day.
Okay, well, I don't know exactly where it is that I should start this, but Cody asked me to film this part. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tamara. Hi. Nice to meet you. We are going to talk about Food on the Dragon. We ended up doing something a little different this year for our biannual meet. We have one in spring and fall. I know you all have watched several of Coda's videos in the past, which were always fantastic, by the way. Some of my favorite videos of all time. I have them on repeat, just in case you wanted to know. In any event, we ended up doing a cook-off this year. And I know he said not to mention him, but he's kind of the reason we had the cook-off. So I'm just going to tell the story, and we'll see whether or not he edits this out.
What's happening in here?
With all the sides, you're feeling hard.
This drawer right down here?
Yeah, but that's not. No.
There's some measuring spoons?
There's a little measuring spoon. I need a wooden spoon.
Who are you going to beat? That's the question.
Everybody.
Everybody.
That's what's in you.
Everybody.
All right, so have you prepared your, victory speech?
It's gonna say, yay. Something enough racist. I thought you were gonna say,
Food on the Dragon. What is it and how did it happen? Well, somebody in our group made a post about biscuits and gravy, to which somebody else, replied that he makes the best. To which I replied, I am so sorry, sir, but I hold the crown and scepter for that. And he said, you want to bet? I said, yeah, I do. And that's how that was born. And then there's little sweet little Ruth Ann who decided that she wanted to jump in. Hey, can I be part of it? I said, sure, sister, come on. Right? There was trash talking. There was a bit of some things that were going on in the probably 30 to 45 days prior to this thing actually happening. In which time I start doing a whole lot of homesteading and started to make him quite nervous, to be honest with you, because I was making butter and Ruth Ann over there, she's doing sourdough bread and making cheese and doing all these things, right? And so somebody's trying to wiggle out of it. We didn't let him at all. So we just devise our plan on how exactly we're going to make this cook-off work. For those of you that don't know, a lot of the Fiat vehicles are very small, and we're pretty limited on what we can bring. And then there's other people, that drive Alphas and things of that nature that have more space, because somebody brought their cast iron and their KitchenAid. I'll let you guys figure out who that was. It was not me. That I will tell you. It's not me. But there were some things brought. So a certain somebody, because I'm not supposed to mention him, maybe we should just call him he who shall not be named. Maybe that's how we should refer to him. Him downstairs from now on. Had an Airbnb. And so that is where this competition was planned to take place Sunday morning. It ended up being the hangout pretty much for everything, by the way. Carmelo and them did homemade pasta Friday night, and it was delicious. When I say homemade pasta, I mean it's legit pasta. He can edit the stuff out if he doesn't want it here. I'm telling my side of the story. Okay? Anyway, the pasta was chef's kiss. I'm glad I wasn't in competition with those guys because, it is what it is. So, all the things roll around. Hopefully Cody will tell a story of all the things that happened at the spring event, because we usually have some good ones, but we had some fantastic ones. Like, we have a poster and everything now. I'll leave it to him because I don't know where I'm going to end up in this video. But in any event, Sunday finally rolls around and everybody's tired. Right? Everybody's tired. It's been a long weekend. It's been a fabulous weekend. We've had lots of food, lots of fun, lots of hanging out. It's fantastic. The place was great. Cody, thank you for letting everybody use it. We all loved it. It was fantastic. So the competition shows. He texted us and said, hey, we got to be out of the B&B by 10 a.m. get here around 7. And I said, okay, fine. Ruth Ann, you need to come get me because, you know, the prince wasn't going to get out of bed that early. So Ruth Ann comes, gets me. I know it's competition, but we're family. It's okay. It's all okay. So we get there, and Cody already has his gravy made, but no biscuit. I said, Aggie, where's your biscuits, Cody? He said, I'm not going to have any biscuits because he bought canned biscuits. I know. We know. So he didn't, because it's a blind taste test. That would have gave it away. I think he listened to me when I told him we went grocery shopping Thursday evening. Everybody go, no, it's you. When they see them canned biscuits, everybody knows what canned biscuits look like. Most of our taste testers were Southerners, so in any event, he already had his gravy made. So then it was just Ruth Ann and myself had to make our biscuits and make our gravy. And it was funny because we all basically used pretty much the same ingredients, like half mild, half hot, different brands of sausage. But it was amazing because they were all so different. Like, they were just so different. Ruth Ann made her biscuits, but I called her. She had used all-purpose flour, and that was it. And while they were in the oven, she opened them up and said, these are not getting very big. And I said, baby, where's your leveling agents? Like your baking soda, your baking powder, that kind of thing. And she was like, oh, well, I didn't use any. And I said, yeah, you're going to need to remake those. You're going to need to remake those. So she did. She did the self-rising flour. She remade them. She broke every law there was in making gravy. Every law. And it still came out. Still came out, right? I just trucked along, did my things. I allowed Cody to use my biscuits for his gravy. Now, I just want you to know I did everything right. I did everything right. All my things came out the way they were supposed to. I was a good sport. I didn't let anybody make mistakes. I did all the things. And to make a very long story short, I came in dead last. That's right, you heard me. Dead last.
Got 2, big plate got 2, little plate got 1.
There you go. 1. I was like, that's how I made it.
All right, second place.
That's it. 2 points. So since little plate gets 4, 6.
Little plate got 6. Oh, wait.
Okay, so little plate gets
4. Big plate gets 4.
and big plate gets 2. 2, okay. And then this is 3 apiece. Big plate gets 3, 6. Little plate gets 6, and paper plate gets 3. Now you add them up. Whoever has the most points.
No, I know the answer. Woo.
Okay.
Okay, man. No, don't film me adding. I'm slow.
So you really didn't have the answer yet. You just did the basics technique. It's a tie.
Okay, so for first place.
No, third place.
Third place. I'm just kidding. Okay, hang on. I'm just making sure that's right because I don't say the wrong thing.
I'm mad. Come on.
Like the nurse look.
Okay, third place is paper plate.
Paper plate.
Paper plate. I don't know who said it. This paper plate is third place.
Paper plate is third place. Okay.
Did we measure the point?
Second, that's Cody, right?
I don't know. I wasn't in the kitchen intentionally.
Who made what? This paper, okay. And then second place is the big plate.
Big plate.
Okay.
First place is the little plate.
The little plate.
First place is little.
Little plate.
All right. Tammy.
Now who's who?
Tammy, who is who?
Yeah.
No, third place is the first paper plate.
Okay, first place. Okay, third place is me.
Yeah.
Ain't no fucking way.
Ring.
Second place is the big plate.
Is the big plate?
Yep. First place is the little plate.
She doesn't remember.
Is the big plate?
I know.
Is the big plate spicy?
Yeah.
Then big plate is me.
That big one is you?
Big plate is me.
So cute.
Everybody was good. You know,
I have no idea. I just work here.
No, his biscuits were mine.
Ruth Ann took home the gold. Good for you, girl. She wanted to quit, and I said, no, ma'am, you will not. You'll put something on that plate. You just keep going. So I'm glad I told her to do that because she actually did win. Cody actually got second, even though he used my biscuits. Elaine got second. Sir, I'm just saying. I know this was only supposed to be 2 or 3 minutes long, and we're like 8 minutes in, but he can edit it down however he needs to. But long story short, I ended up with the guitar. Retha ended up with the build your own race car. I bought a little wooden set to build a wooden race car, and Cody ended up with the big fluffy chicken because that's what I bought for our gifts. It was a fantastic competition. The food was actually pretty good. I ain't gonna lie, it was all pretty good. And the weekend was great. So I look forward to having some kind of food competition, not with Carmelo, though I ain't competing against him, because I ain't got a chance. But I'm looking forward to some kind of food competition, hopefully in the fall. So maybe we'll just make this part of Cody's biannual stuff that we do about the Fiat for sure. So there you go. Now you guys know about food on the Dragon, and hopefully it's going to stay there. So, all right, we'll see you on the back end of the tail end of the Dragon. Hopefully we got all our wheels intact.
Well, Cody, I don't know exactly what it is you're looking for, but I'm in my grandma apron and I'm going to give it a shot. So, when I was asked to join the kids for breakfast and have a biscuit gravy competition, I was very excited because I was told that I'd be blindfolded, and it's been a few years since I was blindfolded for anything. And needless to say, when I got there and there was no blindfold, I was disappointed. But as it progressed, there were 2 very busy bakers in the kitchen, and the smell of sausage sizzling in the skillet, and Cody was outside on the porch smoking a cigarette. And so it progressed. And then as we gathered around the table, the judges, there were 5 very, very good-looking men sitting around that table and 1 old grandma. But at least she had made a biscuit on her own, and I don't believe any of them had. As the plates were delivered to us, they all visually were very inviting and smelled delicious. As we proceeded to sample each one, being a grandma and high blood pressure, the first one was a little salty for me. The second one was just about perfect. The biscuit was flaky and light and fluffy, and the gravy was delicious. And the third one, if I hadn't been old, that would have been my favorite, but it was hot, very spicy. And at this age, I don't want to go Olay the next day. So that tells you who my favorite biscuit was. I was privileged to come hang out with the youngsters and be a part of that, and always will remember the fun time I had and the great people. Thank you for letting Grandma share that with you. Good night.
Hello, friends, or I should probably say family, Fiat family, because that's what we all become as we embark on this journey of Fiat on the Dragon. I think my first Fiat on the Dragon was in the fall of 2013, right after I got my 2013 Abarth back in February of that year. And I had heard about this trip and thought, this sounds like fun. It'd be fun to drive it. It didn't take long to make friends. I think that first fall was maybe a little awkward, but Brett, who leads this thing, has now become one of my best friends, along with so many other people. I can't even name them all because it wouldn't be fair. Fiat on the Dragon has become a time when instead of going for a drive, now you go to see your friends and you do some driving. So it's a great experience. I can tell you that it's been good to me. They've helped me many times when I've had trouble, whether it was with my Abarth or with the X19, the 74 X19 that I brought down. Or it's been times when I've been able to help other people. Maybe I just have the right tools or something with me. Fiat on Dragon is an experience that is unmatched in anything else I've done. I've probably been to, I don't know, 16, 18 or so in the years since I first been there, between spring and fall. And I go now just because I have to go. I have to see people who are my friends, who are my family. And I have to go and drive that goofy little car, and whichever one I take, because it's just a riot to drive. The Fiat on the Dragon is an amazing experience. When I look at all the different name tags from over all the different years, it's each one has different memories that remind me of things that happened, funny things, memorable things, and but most of all, reminds me of the people. There's people that came at the very beginning that I don't see anymore, and I wonder what happened to them. But I stay friends with many of them through Facebook or Instagram or some other way. And then there's new ones that show up. Just this past weekend, when we were there, I met some new people and created new friendships, and it was an amazing experience. But it's the people that keep bringing us back. It's the drives that keep us excited and keep us going. And so it's just an amazing time.
Hello, my name is Lena Turner, and I drive a silver Fiat 500 non-turbo. And this is the first ever Fiat Dragon that I've ever been. Straight up 10 out of 10. Amazing. The people is the number one thing I notice. They welcome you in. They want to be friends, talk to you, and just like a family. It's like a family. And another thing like about it is, like, when you're on the road, you learn your car, how much it can handle, you can handle. The road, it's a different experience. Like, it's pretty fun. And, like, you never know what you're going to encounter sometimes on the trip, but it's fun no matter what. People just make it so much fun. And I cannot wait for fall. I cannot wait. It's gonna be so much fun.
My name is Lacey Soyster, and I'm from Jackson, Missouri. I drive a 2015 Fiat 500 Abarth, an automatic, and it was my first year attending Fiat on the Dragon. So for me, what really sticks with me is the people I met and the friendships that I was able to make. I feel like a lot of lifetime friendships were made. And of course the roads and the adrenaline. There's nothing like taking a little car like this up to the Dragon or the Devil's Triangle. So just one of the most memorable experiences of my life so far. One of the best things was at the end when I was able to put on my decals. The accomplishment, I felt like I've gone on the Dragon, I've done the Devil's Triangle, now I have to go back and get more decals and accomplishments. And of course, see all the great people that I met and hung out with.
That fateful spring day on the Dragon, Fiat on the Dragon, seemed like it was gonna be a bad weekend for the classics. I think the first one to drop, Thomas and Tammy. They get the first one to drop, Thomas and Tammy. The fuel pump, as we were headed at, we were going out Wire Road, and they were off in the parking lot. Didn't realize what was going on until we got back, but of course, headed out Wire Road as we're coming down the steep section before the turn to head back. My nut drops off the bottom of my stick shift, and my stick shift pops loose, so I'm stuck in third gear. And we kept rolling, and told Deb, well, as long as we don't have to shift gears, we should do okay, as long as we can keep the momentum up. Although I hadn't done any of my final tuning, so I really didn't have the acceleration that I should have had. And we did pretty good until we got to some hairpin turns going back up, and finally got to the point where we just couldn't make it any farther. It hit a pull off on the side, and I wasn't quite sure what we were going to do and how we were going to get back. And then I thought, well, might as well just pop that console open and see if I could get that shifter back in there, because it was the spring that was fighting back, kept pushing the shifter up. So reached in, pulled the spring out, stuck the shifter back in there, and as long as I kept pressure down on the shifter, I'd get through all the gears. So, okay, make this work. So, it's first glitch. We get back to the parking lot, find out Thomas has blown a fuel pump, and it was pumping fuel out all over the place, so they've replaced the fuel pump. Okay, good, they'll move along. And I think as we all rolled out of the parking lot, we headed back to go through the Dragon one more time. And Tom and Wendy were in his X19 in front, and we'd stopped. I think we stopped and got gas there at Deal's Gap. But Tom says, "Yeah, I'm gonna take it easy going through the Dragon on this one." Okay, that's not a problem. I could handle that. I'm already fighting the shifter. Of course, it didn't take very long before I was scrambling to keep up with him, because he was driving it just like he would always drive it. And we get to the end of that run, and we stop at that little observation area before you head down the last part down to the river. And Wendy gets out of the car, and I said, does Tom do that to you all the time when he says, I'm going to take it easy, and then he drives like a crazy man? And she goes, yeah, he does that all the time. So we take our stop there, and we head down, and the rest of the group was sitting in the larger parking lot down near the river. And we decided we had been trailing behind the whole time. And we were all headed to 129 up for dinner. So the classics had all been dragging in the back for a while. So we just decided we're going to push through. So Blake's with us. Blake was actually out front. He said, we're just going to keep going. We'll get to 129 up first. And for the first time of the day, we'll be the first one to get there, so the last one to get there. So we're heading down the road there near along the river, and Tom radios back to me, and he says, are my tires okay? So, something feels funny. And we look down the side of the car, and now everything looks good. And, as it pulled towards the center line, I look down the passenger side of the car, and everything looks good. No wobble, everything looks solid. And come back over to look down the driver's side, and I see this reflection, like there's a bulge in the tire or something that's going on in the tire. And I didn't get a chance to, I think I said it on the radio, and suddenly the wheel's gone. Left rear wheel comes off, does a bounce, goes by us on the left-hand side. I see it shoot 15, 20 feet up in the air, because as it went off towards the river, it hit a log or a rock or something, and it just rocketed straight up. And turned to look, and sparks coming off the left-hand side. Deb screaming like crazy, because I don't think she realized what was going on. He was riding on the rotor, but he kept it straight, and brought it to a nice slow stop. And Deb screaming, and we stopped. And I said, just stay in the car, because I pulled off so close to the side of the road, I thought there was mud on her side. And so I said, just stay in the car, because I didn't want her to get out and step it. But so I get out, and we start backtracking, and Tom spots the rim floating in the river, and we're not sure how fast the current's going. So I'm going to make a beeline for that thing, because we don't want it to take off. We don't want to lose that rim. So I made a beeline down to get in front of it, and it wasn't moving as fast as it looked, and then it got hung up on a stick. So the only way to get to it, I'm in ankle deep in water, but now I got to go out around a bunch of brush. I'm like, I'm getting this thing. We're not going to lose this tire. So I get, I'm out now waist deep out in the river, and grab this rim, and get pulled up, get out of the river, just kind of wade the way back, and we get the tire on, and I gotta check on everybody, and Deb's still in the car, and I think I asked Wendy, and Wendy said, I wanted to make sure Deb was okay, so I went over to the car, and she was still in the car, and she said, I'm not supposed to get out of the car. So it was just so many of those very quick emotional reactions going on. So we get to rip back on Tom's car, get Tom going. Turns out I keep a steel rim spare in my Spider, and because it uses a different set of lug nuts than the aluminum rims, I keep a set of lug nuts. So Tom was down to one lug nut, which got caught in the gap. So at least we had spare lug nuts, and we got the tire on, and we go on to 129 hub, and had the taco bar out. Did a great job with that. And we get done with that. We start to get back into phone range, heading back towards Tally Ho. And my phone rings, and it's Tammy. And she says, we're going to need your help. We had to leave our car. And that was all I got before we lost cell service. So we tried to text, but we were headed back to the cabin central that Cody had set up. And got up there, figured out, that the fuel pump that had been replaced, the new one failed. So we're going to go back and we're going to retrieve the car at Deals Gap. And I've got my trailer with me. So I go back, put dry clothes on, come back to the cabin to pick up Thomas, and come to find out that the story of the wheel coming off the car has started to mushroom out of control. It's now somewhere in the stages of Bigfoot was there. Tom drove the car into the river, and I retrieved him out of the car, but somehow he ended up doing CPR on me. And then there was a U-boat, and it just kept growing and growing, and it was just completely out of control. And then there were mermaids, and it was just, everybody had so much fun with it.
All right, to be completely honest and completely fair, Don's probably going to tell you the story of what actually happened. However, everybody knows that the tales grow taller on down the line as the story ends up getting told. So here's kind of almost the final finished product. So there's this picture that was made by AI where it kind of depicted everything that happened within this whole scenario. So it's going to start off with both Yeti and Sasquatch. The reason why those two are starting off is because last year they ended up hearing that Thomas Schmidt's car ended up breaking the transmission somewhere on the Dragon, which needed Don's trailer to help pull it all the way back. This year, both those two decided, like, hey, Fiat on the Dragon is coming back. Let's go ahead and kick up some lawn chairs. Let's see if this happens again. So these two assholes are just kicking it out on the mountain, and they literally watch this tire come flying off. That's the first part of this. So Don was right. Tire did come off. Tire went flying. It disappeared. And then that's like out of nowhere, that damn thing fucking shot straight up in the air, high as a kite, and then came back down and landed in the water. So Thomas Schmidt and Don at this point are basically trying to walk through the bushes. Thomas looks over. He ends up seeing the tire, and all of a sudden it started floating away. Well, the one thing that they didn't count for was when that whole thing, or when that tire shot in the air, it actually hit a fucking German U-boat. Yeah. True story. Hit the German U-boat, went flying right up in the air. Once Don ended up realizing that, he ended up jumping over that, got into the water, grabbed the tire, put it in his mouth, started doggy paddling back to shore, when all of a sudden the sound basically attracted both a shark and a piranha. And in true Don fashion, he ended up grabbing that piranha and he fought off the damn shark with it. It was like the most impressive shit that anybody had ever seen. Well, at this point, Thomas, poor man, and all the bad stuff that happens to him, basically started like not feeling the greatest and ended up like passing out. And Don ended up having to give him CPR. So there was that. The one thing that ended up helping out Don when given CPR was the fact that a mermaid ended up blowing her kisses in his direction. Sorry, Debbie. And that's what ended up giving him the power and the ability to be able to save Thomas Schmidt. The last thing that's on here, and it's absolutely really, really weird. You have these gnomes. Now, the gnomes they can be helpful little assholes. They weren't helpful in this situation. They didn't offer to help put on the tire. They didn't offer to help give Thomas CPR. They didn't offer Don to fight off both the shark and the piranha, or the German U-boat. Or go tell Yeti and Sasquatch to get the fuck off the mountain and stop being loiterers. Yeah. True stories. Tale of the Dragon.
And it was really, as much as I don't want to say a mundane thing, it was, let's not let that rim get away. I will say a funny thing. Well, we were getting the car back over to Brett's house to get it transported up to Ohio to give it the once over. I couldn't remember if he had a spare, and I popped the seat up because the spare is behind the passenger seat, and I opened the panel up and I realized he's got another alloy rim in the spare. And I said, why did I go dive in the river to save that rim if he had another one? Well, it was worth saving it, but it was kind of a funny moment there. But so Thomas and I head back through the Dragon in the dark, pulling a trailer, load up their Spider. Turns out the original pump he had was a facet pump. The facet pump didn't fail, but it was rubbing on something that wore a hole through the side of the pump. Well, turned out I happen to have a facet pump at home. So we, I think by the time we left to go to the Dragon, I think it was 11 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock. We drive out, Deals Gap, load this car up in the dark, go back through the Dragon, pull in the Spider at a trailer in the dark, unhook the trailer with the Spider on it. Then I make a beeline back to Sevierville, which is, about a 45-minute drive. Grab the facet pump, turn around, get back to the hotel. So I get back at something about 1 a.m. And we've now got, Tom lost his wheel, but it's back on. Thomas and Tammy lost fuel pump. Theirs isn't running and is strapped down on my trailer. My stick shift is out. So I figure at least first thing in the morning, I'm going to get into the car and we'll put my shifter back together and do some, just at least get it back in so I don't have to deal with it. Maybe a chance of doing some driving. So I come out and it rained overnight. That's just great. But it turned out it didn't rain all that bad. And under the car was dry. I thought, this is perfect. Got a nice dry spot under the car. Get all the tools out. Get a jack under it, get a little extra room, get in there, start taking it apart. It starts raining. Then it starts pouring. Torrential. Streaming under the car. I'm now laying in water, soaked, just like I was the day before diving in the river. And at one point I look over and I see this outline of something large, just about under my oil pan. And I grab the flashlight to look over it, and it is this huge toad just sitting under the car, watching me. He hung out there the whole time. Sat right under the right front wheel, just watched. Didn't move, didn't care. I could get up, get out, open the door, slam the door, get in the car, move the shifter. There was possibly some swearing going on. This toad didn't move. Sat there the whole time. So now the shifter, I just about got it back in. I got to do, one more little tweak and then go down there and tighten the nut up one more time. Which, by the way, if you ever have to do this, take out the Guibo and drop the drive shaft. I will never try and put a shifter in a Spider again without taking the drive shaft out. So I get that back in, just about finished up. back and forth, you know, in the cabin, under the car, in the cabin, under the car. Go for the last time, go to the driver's door, pop the handle breaks off in my hand. That's it. That was the nail in the coffin. I'm done. I've had it. I'm now soaked. The inside of the car is torn apart. The shifter's back in, but I have no driver's door handle. That's it. This is an omen. The classics have taken a beating. So I get wrapped up. I close all mine up. You know, I go through another set of dry clothes, and then go catch up with Thomas and Tammy to see how they're making out with theirs. And we then after the rain had stopped at this point, which was kind of funny, and we rolled the trailer under cover and managed to get the fuel pump installed in Thomas and Tammy's car. So now their car's running, our car's running. Tom and Wendy, Tom's X19 is running, but we've all had it. We're burnt. we've had the experience of a lifetime, and have decided it's just time to call it a day and get Tom's car, his X19, up to Brett's house to drop it off. We got our Spider loaded on the trailer, just so we didn't have to deal with it later. And we all went out and got lunch because we had just had enough. But it was quite the weekend. Again, the classics took a beating, but you know, sometimes it all goes wrong. But that's part of what makes it so much fun. So no regrets. I think I've decided that I will always be bringing the trailer because somebody's always going to need some recovery. And we did have a really interesting idea that, and we'll have to see if Brett would get on board with this, would be if anyone's car ends up on the trailer due to terminal mechanical failure, you get free shipping on any parts from Auto Recombi. That would be cool. Of course, this past weekend with Fiat on the Dragon might have been kind of expensive because we had quite a few cars on the trailer.
So to close things off, I'll leave you guys with this video that has been on YouTube for quite a few years. It's from probably about the year 2000, and I'm not sure exactly, but I strapped a camcorder to the targa bar of my X19 and did a couple of runs on the Dragon, and then edited them together so that they would make an actual video. It's kind of cool though. I used microphones so I wouldn't get wind noise, so most of the sound is coming from the engine bay, and then I used the forward and the rear camera angles, put them together. So it was kind of fun. It was a long time ago, and basically I did the video, posted it to YouTube a few years back, but apologize for the quality. I'm not sure exactly what happened with that. It was before we had iPhones and high def, so just enjoy and bear with it.